Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Let's Have a Chat podcast. I'm your host, Brendan Creamer, and today we're going to be talking about making music in the pandemic. For a lot of artists, the pandemic has been really rough. Some artists have had to delay songs, albums, shows, the works. So we're going to be talking to a local musician, Adam Baxter, who plays all across Newfoundland. He's from central Newfoundland. And we're going to be talking to him about how he's still been able to produce music during the pandemic, some of the projects he's working on, as well as how he's been handling it himself with shows and just producing his own music and the like. So stay tuned for all that. It's bound to be a great show. So with me today, I have award-winning singer, songwriter, and music educator, Adam Baxter. Adam, how about you introduce yourself?
Hey, thanks for having me. My name is Adam Baxter, and Brendan already introduced me pretty well, so I don't know what to say. I just write songs and release them and have a good time doing it, and I teach band at a high school and a middle school in central Newfoundland, and music's my life, and I love it with all my heart, and that's the best intro I can give myself.
Awesome. So as we were just talking about a little bit, you're doing this really cool project right now. Yeah, do you just want to speak on that a little bit before we get into anything else?
Yeah, definitely. So there's this thing called the RPM Challenge that's been around in Newfoundland, I think since either 2007 or 2008. The first time I did it was in 2008, and I've done it several times since. And the challenge is to write, record, and release an album in the month of February. And as years went on, kind of guidelines changed and it got pretty free. So I decided this year that I was going to write, record, and release a song a day in the month of February. So instead of having like 10 tunes at the end of the month, I'm going to have 28. I don't know if any of them are going to be any good, but I'm kind of using it as a writing exercise to kind of expose to myself what my habits are, whether they're good or they're bad, what my limitations are, how I sound, and like kind of my idea of different genres, and lots to explore with 28 weirdo songs.
Yeah, I would definitely say. So how's that process going so far for you?
It's pretty good. I got a good kind of formula and a routine that I'm going through. So the first day I kind of sat down and I was like, what am I going to do? So I just thought of something that I really enjoyed. And I got a couple, I got some notes made, leading up to this. I was like, I better write some notes in case I have some off days where I don't know what to do. So I got a little note bank. So I noticed this one thing was, one prompt I had was Burgeo Beach, and my wife and I love spending time on Burgeo beaches. So I just wrote this 2-minute kind of toe tapper about spending time on the beach with your wife, and there we go. So so basically, I sit down, I write the song, and then I kind of make a graphic for it, and then I just upload it and post it, and then it's just step away and listen to it a couple times, maybe that evening, and wash, rinse, repeat for the next day. Today is what? Today is the 5th. I just finished writing the one for today, so my process today will be write the song, do the interview, release it. So.
Oh, well, perfect.
That's it. Yeah, man. I'm pretty excited to see what it shows me about myself and the songs that I possibly could come up with. So, really excited.
Yeah, I guess. Will you be taking any of these songs that you write here now, and maybe putting them on a future album or anything, or doing anything else with them?
100%, man. If it's I guess I'm releasing it in the inception that it's being released in, right? Mm-hmm. But if there's a song and it's a 2-minute song, everyone that I've released so far has been 2 minutes, right? So if there's one of these 2-minute jams that I really like, and I want to add a verse, or I want to add a bridge, or a different section, man, I'll definitely do that. I mean, it's mine. I might as well do it. And if I have to write 2.0 after the end of it, I don't care. So that's it. I'm just having fun writing songs, not trying to be a crazy businessman or anything.
So to kind of move on from this a little bit,
Sure.
you've had, is it 4 or 5 different songs come out during the pandemic? Or it might have been more than that, but that's the ones that I've seen.
Yeah, man. I had an album come out like right before the pandemic started. And it was like 10 songs that were all 45 seconds or shorter. So the album was only like six minutes long. But when the pandemic hit, I definitely hit like a dark point where I was pretty bummed and I didn't know what to do with myself. And then like you get on Facebook or any social media and you notice that everybody's on it and lots of people are wanting to make music. So I decided I would take some songs and record them with friends across the province. So it really helped me like connect with friends and get past a pretty sad time. So I just started doing that, and I think it was 6 total tracks. I could be wrong. I could open my Spotify and look at it, but I'm too lazy. No, I'm just kidding. But it was definitely like 5 or 6 tunes, and they all turned out really nice. And I was really happy because I got to be my own recording engineer and my own producer, and I got to kind of make all the calls, and I trusted my ears. And I don't know if anybody else liked it, but I was pretty happy with it when I uploaded it out of my computer realm, you know?
Well, it seemed like a lot of people really liked These Days in particular. That one has, I think, 50,000 plays on Spotify right now.
That one did really well. I did that as a co-write with Jordan Coker from Quote the Raven. Don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're a lovely folk duo based out of CBS, and they tour all over the country. And Jordan does a whole lot of co-writing. And we got together over the pandemic, just as you and I are doing on Zoom, and we spent about 2 hours hammering out ideas, and then we kind of went our both ways with it, and was really happy with how it turned out. It's a fun jam.
Yeah, great song.
Thanks, man.
So you mentioned a little bit about like having to kind of produce your own music with this pandemic on the go. How's that process been going for you?
Well, it's not like I'm like reading a book and trying to like learn the right and the wrong way to do it. I just always said trust my ears, and I just kind of come up with some different methods of recording. Now, having said that, I have a quote unquote drum guy. Like, I don't record my own drums. I got a drum guy in Stephenville. Stuart Galland is his name. He's an amazing musician and writer himself. So if I have a song that I need drums to, I call up Stu and ask him to do that. So I'm lucky that I have like connections all over the province, especially for any instrument that I would need, kind of professionally done, where I can kind of like hack my way through a lot of different stuff. I'd rather have the pros do it. Like the video that I did for Keep Safe has a lot of horn players in it. So I got a bunch of horn player friends from music school to jump on and do these parts that I wrote. So it worked out pretty cool. So, I mean, the process itself is a learning process, but it's good to have lots of connections and friends that are also kind of like-minded and want to make good music. So I'm lucky for that. So pretty cool, scary, and that's the end of the answer, I promise.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like having friends in the same field as you is definitely helpful in this regard. Anyway,
it feels good, like to connect with your pals in such a weird time in the world, right? So pals are awesome.
Yeah, it keeps you connected. Yeah,
definitely, man.
So another thing with the pandemic that really hampered a lot of artists, and I'm assuming yourself as well, is the fact that you haven't been able to play as many shows recently.
Dude, yeah. So
how are you feeling about that?
In a nutshell, I'm going to tell you it sucks. But to elaborate further, I love playing live. It's before I moved to Central in 2013, I was predominantly a live performer. I spent like 8 years just performing in St. John's, doing very little recording, very little business, just performing. So that's where my heart lies, is being in front of an audience and connecting with people and like trying your best and all that stuff and touring and all that. I love it so much. I love it with all my heart, man. And I'm lucky that I got to do a fair amount over the pandemic, and I've done a lot of virtual stuff and virtual is awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's a different skill altogether, but it's just not the venue of connection that I really kind of gravitate towards. So it sucks not being able to play a lot. I've had some like great gig opportunities fall through. I was supposed to do a tour of the arts and culture centers, and that definitely fell through. I was supposed to do a separate arts and culture center show in Gander, and that fell through. And just like, and I'm not even really actively booking anything right now because I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do. So that's definitely a huge hole in my heart. And I think maybe this project of writing the songs every day is really kind of like filling that hole. That it's like, at least I got something to do every day, and it's a goal, so I don't have to think about not playing shows, because I'm definitely bummed out about it. Love playing shows, especially in Corner Brook, buddy.
That's right.
Corner Brook's great, man. It's like my favorite place in the world.
It's pretty awesome. You mentioned there doing these online shows, these virtual shows. I've seen you do I think a couple over, what was it, Facebook Live? How's that? Like, how do you find that?
So the live kind of concert, the Facebook Live concert, it's good. It's again, you have a small level of connection, because if what I like to do is I stream from my desktop, where I have a separate camera, but then I have my phone kind of like right here where I can see comments coming in. There's a bit of connection with that, right? You can feed off that a little bit, right? The technical side of the Facebook concert it's always changing, so you always got to make sure that your audio and your visual is all looking good and all that stuff. But that's a fun learning process too, so I enjoy learning about that stuff. The whole thing of the Facebook concert is it's pretty good. The audio is not always amazing, but it can be pretty good. You get to connect with people, as I said, and it's, let's say if playing live is 10 out of 10, Facebook Live is a 7.5. Pretty good. Oh, covers the whole, you know.
Yeah, I got you. That checks.
Yeah.
So overall, how have you found this whole process of making music during this time, during the pandemic?
Well, it's different, and luckily myself and yourself and any other artists out there, we're creatively minded people that are in a creative industry, and it usually doesn't take long for us to adapt. So we find a way to make it work. It is very hard for some people. A lot of people are losing lots of income. Luckily, there's great programs through the government, Music NL, Arts NL, that are helping artists kind of subsidize their lives, which is great. But it's definitely a complete shift. It's literally gone from in person to in front of a screen. Performing, you have to get used to, like, you're performing, should I look at the camera? Should I not look at the camera? You know, like, what do you do? So you're learning a whole different skill, which, I mean, in the long run, like, the time sucks, but whenever you learn a different skill, you always become a better person at the other end, right? So I'll get back to playing live someday, and I'll love it. And maybe someday I'll do a whole bunch more Facebook Live stuff or pre-recorded showcase stuff, and I'll love that, and I'll write a bunch of songs, and I'll not write a bunch of songs, and I'll release them, and I'll love it, and I'll just love every moment of it, because I kind of went off there, sorry, but that's how I kind of feel.
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So to kind of wrap this up a little bit,
yeah, man.
What's next for you? What's on the docket?
Okay, I appreciate that. Well, I am hoping, yes, to get back playing over the summer. I love doing the summer Newfoundland tour. I've toured like to Toronto and back a couple times in the summers. Done a couple of Atlantic Canadian tours. My man, I just love the Newfoundland summer tour. It's my favorite tour. As long as you're okay with playing like 20 people some nights, you're still connecting with them, right? Chances are some of those 20 people haven't seen you before, so that's good. So hoping to play. That's my hope. So when this record, this project is complete, I'll probably do some publicity on it just to kind of see what the communities think of this kind of thing. I don't know what I really plan to do. Basically just thinking of doing a press release to see what people think of it, or see what they think of the completion idea of it. So there's that. I do have plans of actually putting out an 8-song album in April. So coming up very soon, when I'm done this recording project, I'll have all my stuff kind of tweaked and ready to go, and I'll do a produced album instead of just like one guitar, one voice. So it'll be like kind of like multiple guitars, multiple vocals. It's only going to be me though. I don't think I'm going to do full band. So that's going to be 8 tunes. Really excited for that. That'll be at the end of April. In the summer for recording, I will be working on the Adam Baxter Christmas album. Ooh. Which could be cool. I don't know. I'm going to try my best to produce a cool sounding Christmas album that sounds Christmassy. But I got all the songs written and I feel pretty good about them. I got a neighbor next door. He and I, we hang out sometimes, and he loves singing, and he gave me a guitar. And so I go over and we sing together, and we wrote a bunch of Christmas tunes together, and we're like, I'm going to release this. And he said, cool. So yeah, I mean, it's a good laugh. All of it. Got a couple albums coming out. Hope to play a bunch. But regardless, always going to be flat out making music, man.
That's great to hear, man. I hope it all goes well for you.
Thanks, I appreciate it. And if it doesn't, who cares? It's just doing what I love. And I'm going to do a bunch of sailing this summer too. Actually, my wife and I got a pretty cool boat, so we're going to go sailing.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
All right, well, thanks for doing this interview, man. I greatly appreciate it.
Bro, it's my pleasure.
Thanks so much for watching the podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go check out my socials. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, both at Brendan Creamer. And make sure to check out Adam's socials as well. He's on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that. All the streaming platforms you can think of. And he's also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the works of it. So make sure to check him out as well. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.